Perfect. So the meeting is now recording for all of your information. We'll get started with a roll call of attendance. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gabe. I'm the VP University Relations and chair of this committee. My pronouns are he, him, his, and my access needs are met. I will just say that I'm going to have my camera off today. But for access needs, that's all for me. I'll call on your position and just please state out your name, your pronouns, and any access needs that you might have. And again, just a reminder that access needs are anything that we can do to make the meeting experience more comfortable for you. So we'll go to the president.
Hi everyone, my name is Offset. My pronouns are she and her. All my access needs have been met, but my internet has been quite bad and my computer is really laggy, so if I'm cutting in and out, that might be why.
Thanks, Asad. We'll go to the VP External Relations.
Hi everyone, my name is Samat Raza. My pronouns are he, him. All my access needs are currently met. There might be some disturbance from my mic because I'm in residence and there is construction going on, so I apologize for that.
No worries, thanks, Samad. Science representative.
Hi, my name is Wei Chen. Go by pronounce he, him, his. My access needs are met.
Thank you, Wei Chen. Health science representative.
Hi everyone, my name is Nafoni. Pronouns are she, her, hers, and my access needs have been met.
Thank you, Nafoni. Our education representative sent in her regrets. So we'll move on to the next one. Faculty of Environment representative.
Hi everyone, my name is Anuki. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and my access needs are met.
Thanks, Anuki. We have no student at-large members at the moment. We'll move into society staff.
Hi, Gabe.
I was going to come to you next, Belkis. Thank you. We'll start with society staff, then we'll move on to our guests. Thank you. I didn't forget about you. We'll start with the campaign's research and policy coordinator.
Hi everyone, it's Sarah. She, her, and hers, and all my needs have been met.
Thank you, Sarah. Executive director.
Hi everyone, Sylvia. She, her, hers. I have to leave at 4. I have another meeting that I cannot miss. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Executive assistant.
Hi guys, Shanika Blake. My access needs are met. Well, my internet has been wonky today, so I may come in and out as well. And my pronouns are she or hers.
Thank you, Shanika. Administrative assistant.
Hi, I'm Christine. I'm she, her, hers, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you, Kristen. Now we'll move to our guests. So we have, we'll start with Balkis, at-large representative.
Hi, I'm Balkis. She, her, hers. My access needs are met.
Thanks, Balkis. Poom.
Hello, my name is Poom. He, him, his. All my access needs are met.
Thank you, Poom. We also have a student senator joining us today. Alan, if you'd like to state your name, pronouns, and access needs.
Alan. My name is Alan. He, him, him, and my access needs are met.
Awesome, thank you, and thanks for coming to UAA today. I always love including senators in this committee, and hopefully, if you feel comfortable at any point in the meeting, you can contribute to the discussion in any way that you'd like to. So we'll move into agenda item number 4, which is ratification of regrets. The motion reads, be it resolved to ratify regrets from Emily Liu. Is there a mover for the motion?
I'll move. Wei Chen.
Wei Chen moves. Is there a seconder for the motion?
Nafoni.
Nafoni seconds. Is there any discussion on? Is there any discussion on the motion? No. Okay, so seeking unanimous consent on the motion. I'll ask all those in favor, and if there's any dissent, if anyone wishes to vote against or abstain, please just unmute your mic. And seeing none, the motion will carry unanimously. So we'll move on to the next agenda item, which is the adoption of the agenda. So be it resolved to adopt the agenda as presented. Is there a mover for this motion? Is there a mover?
I'll move Anuki.
Anuki moves. Is there a seconder?
Samat.
Samat seconds. Thank you. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any amendments that anyone would like to make?
I have an amendment.
Sure.
Can I add town hall to the discussion?
It is on the agenda. It's the first agenda item, discussion item. Pardon me.
Oh, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Is there any other amendments? Cool, sounds good. So we'll move to a vote then. All those in favor of adopting the agenda as presented, seeking unanimous consent. All right, seeing no opposition, the motion carries unanimously. Next agenda item, item 6, matters arising from the minutes. Be it resolved to receive and file the following meeting minutes from May 22nd, 2020. Is there a mover for the motion?
Nafoni.
Nafoni moves. Is there a seconder for the motion? Is there a seconder for the motion? All right, I can second. So is there any discussion on the motion? No discussion. And just a reminder that the minutes do get sent out before each committee meeting, before we approve them. So I just ask that everyone take a minute before the meeting to look at the minutes and see if everything looks all tickety-boo and everything. I do look over them, of course, as chair of the committee before it actually goes out to the committee members, but just keeping that in mind.
Gabe, I have a minor change to the minutes.
Okay.
On number 6 under discussion items, point number 2, it should be amidst rather than admits.
Okay.
So it should be AMIDST and not ADMITS.
Okay. Oh, I see that. All right. Just minor spelling error.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we do we need to fix that before we actually approve the minutes, or just note that in discussion and then before they get posted on the website that gets fixed?
I'm sorry, what is I don't see the spelling mistake. Sorry, which item is it on?
Under discussion items, number 6, and it's point 2. It's like the second bullet point under point 2.
Number 8?
Number 6. It was number 6 when I read the minutes. Hold on, let me find the minutes. Number 6.
Oh, sorry, you're looking at the last minute.
Yes.
It's just a spelling error in the minute?
Yes. Yeah.
As long as there's no motion, it doesn't matter.
Okay. Sounds good. So I think we're safe to move forward. I think it's just it's minor, can be changed easily. So we'll move into a vote then. All those in favor of the motion seeking unanimous consent? All right, so seeing no opposition, that motion will carry unanimously. Okay, cool. So now that we have the housekeeping items out of the way, we'll move into updates. So item 7.1, joint operations group. So Asib and I attended the joint operations group meeting, our monthly JOG meeting. Was it last week? It was last Thursday. And we had an opportunity to discuss a lot of different topics. And it was a very packed meeting, and there was actually, we were quite packed for time. So we couldn't go into a lot of thorough discussion on certain items, that are of very importance to us. So I'll give a quick update on what happened at this meeting. And of course, Asib, if you'd like to jump in at any point in time and correct anything that I said or add anything that I might have missed, go ahead. But I think one of the main things that happened at that meeting was the SFSS presented the COVID-19 survey to the group. And of course, we included the findings of that survey, which included things like how students have accumulated travel expenses due to COVID-19, how they have unreliable Wi-Fi at home. I think that was 14% of students who responded to our survey. How students are struggling because they're not eligible for funding, or they're developing mental health symptoms directly related to how courses are being conducted online. The meeting is called the Joint Operations Group. We often shorten it to JOG. It's a group that is composed of representatives from the SFSS. So Asib and I are the representatives of the SFSS on that committee. Shanika and Sylvia often attend too. There is two representatives from GSS, including their executive director. I believe they attend as well, and other administrators from SFU, such as John Driver and Rumana. I'm forgetting her last name, but and Erin Biddlecombe, is that her last name? Yeah. So it's a group of open discussion about issues of relevance to the SFSS, GSS, and SFU. Yeah, I guess I should have started with that. We've talked about it, but we haven't quite had gone thoroughly into actually what it is. So I hope that answered your question. Perfect. So yeah, what I was saying was we were able to discuss some of those findings that came out of the survey. And of course, this was also one of the items that I wish we had more time to talk about, but we were very pressed for time. There wasn't much response to the question. I think a question came up as to why the response rate was so low, which was 10% of our membership filled out the survey. But in all honesty, that is very high for the SFSS. If we're thinking about even our elections, I think 5 or 6% of our membership vote in our elections. So this was actually very impressive for the SFSS. And of course, some students might just not see the email and such. So that was discussed. We also conveyed some of our concerns around funding and finances currently going on, such as the late fee for tuition. We expressed how we felt that this was very much a money grab, and that they're giving us something by implementing a payment plan and extending tuition deadlines, but then turning around and taking something away from us. It feels like a bit of an insult, and we were able to convey that to them. And their response to that continues to be that the late fee is in place to be as an incentive for students to pay, and that it would cause serious harm if tuition wasn't coming in until the latter half of the semester. Additionally, we were able to speak about tuition fees and our desire for tuition fees to be adjusted accordingly due to the quality of education being decreased now that teaching is online. And this one is a bit of a point of contention because specifically John Driver, but other individuals are of the opinion that the quality of education hasn't decreased, it's just changed, and it's changed format. The move online didn't change the quality of education. We're just using new and innovative ways, using technology to teach online. And this is something that we obviously do not agree with. It's not really a question of has the quality of education decreased. I think that is very evident by what we've been hearing by students. There is no question, yes, the quality of education has decreased. The question is right now, what is the university going to do about it in the face of that fact? Or if they're going to accept that fact. As well, we were able to talk about emergency funding for the summer and fall semesters, whether or not there was going to be any further emergency funding. Of course, $3 million was already distributed in the last 2 months with the existing emergency funding. And they are beginning to move back to the bursary model of giving money to students, both for grads and undergrads. I believe they said around mid-June, they are going to take a more solidified stance and see what the situation for students is, and if there is actually a greater need for emergency funding. Other topics such as course delivery came up and issues with synchronous delivery, specifically when it comes to things like exam invigilation and how students are very freaked out about this, and that the university needs to set out a set of stronger rules on what profs can and cannot do for exams. And we also had an opportunity to talk about what courses are going to be in person in the fall. And of course, the answer to that is nearly 100% of courses will be online, and except for things that absolutely need to be in person, such as some labs or research facilities. But this, of course, will be extremely limited. So that's the notes that I have from that meeting. If there's any questions about that, or if Asib or anyone would like to jump in and make a comment about that, I'll open the floor up to that now. Asib?
Yeah, I wanted to say you mostly covered, I think, what went down, and also we did have a pretty lengthy discussion about it at the board table. Now I think it's more of an issue of what do we want to do with this survey. I think it would be good to kind of break it up into tidbits and post the results on our webpage. I know we also already posted the full survey, but it might be helpful to make graphics out of the different key information points, like the really high rate of students who weren't sure if they'd be able to enroll because of their financial position, a significant chunk of students who don't even have access to reliable internet, that kind of thing. And I think the big takeaway from that meeting was that, we came to the meeting wanting to bring our recommendations and our demands, and then even seek some kind of a, what is it called? A compromise. However, we did not receive any of that. It was quite disappointing. So it might be an issue of being a little bit more aggressive in our lobbying efforts to the university from here on out.
Thank you, Asib. Does anyone else want to ask questions or give comments? All right, thank you. So seeing none, we'll move from this discussion item to the next one. Curious if there's any updates from the COVID-19 coalition.
I can speak on that, but also you should go.
I think Sol and I are equally qualified to speak on this because we're the two people who've been attending the meeting. So Samad, I think I'll let you take this one.
It's like I didn't put my name on the list, and I was like, okay, now she put it in. Well, right now we do not have any major updates as of now. We are having meeting tomorrow. That would be very interesting, and they have requested if more of SFSS member would like to join us, because a lot of SFSS members have shown interest in this collision and they want to help out. So Vince in particular have requested if anyone wants to join in. So we want to just open the floor for anyone who would like to join in. We are meeting tomorrow at 5 p.m. and link will be shared. So just let Osab or me know. We can share the link. So probably in the next board meeting or the next meeting, if anything major is discussed, we can share it with you guys.
Awesome, thank you, Samad. There's a question. Awesome. Did you have a follow-up, or did that basically hit all the points you wanted to talk about?
That's mostly it. And Shanika, I can kind of answer your question. It's the C19 coalition that we endorsed at the end of last board year, so like back in April. And we've been working with them. Like, we sent out the petition recently, which was a huge success. I think it's well over 1,000 signatures. I think 1,400 maybe was the last that I heard. So as soon as we sent it out to the undergrads, it really like got a lot of traction. And I think it most definitely caught the attention of the university.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Asad. Perfect. Sounds good. Is there any more questions or discussion on that? Yeah, so I definitely think it's caught the attention of the university. The petition, I think, is yet to be acknowledged by the university. Please correct me if I'm wrong. It wasn't discussed at the student town hall that was hosted by SFU. It was brought up in an email with Aaron Biddlecombe, but other than that, not publicly. It hasn't been announced yet. It was addressed at JOG though. Cool. So we'll move on from this discussion item and we'll move on to 7.3, which is an update from the working group on emergency response and student engagement. And I'll invite our working group lead for that, Samad, to give any relevant updates.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we have some major updates. I would say, really proud that even just within 1 week of formation, the group has come up with great ideas to tackle the issues we are having right now, support the students, and also provide engagement to them. So as you know, the group is two-part. One is emergency response and other is student engagement. So I will start with the emergency response part of it. In the last few meetings we had with Tara Flynn, who is a civic engagement coordinator from SFU, and she connected with us in regards to starting a food hub program or food service program for all the SFU students with no question asked. So anyone can sign up for that and have food service available to them. It caught our attention, and I think it's a great program. We shared the proposal with the working group. I shared the proposal with the working group. We met Matthew and I had a meeting with Tara Flynn as well to discuss the whole program she's proposing. And currently, as of now, it's like this. So she wants to do twice a week service to students between 3 hours limited time where student can come in and pick up their package. They have to sign up in advance for that. She's getting funding from SFU. She has applied for funding from SFU. As of now, we don't know if she has received the funding yet, but she said she has applied for the funding for SFU, and she has partnered in United Ways as well to provide foods, packaged food to the university, and so that she can dispatch. As of now, her ask from us is that we provide her with enough space to store food for that limited time, 3 hours or so, twice a week, and dispatch the food from there. She doesn't have a place where she can do this program, or she just need a place. So we request that if it's possible, we can allocate forum chambers or any space in Maggie Benson that we have currently and we are not using to this program, and help her in that way and partner up with her. In the proposal, she also asked if there would be volunteers available to help her out. And I would like to take this under ERSE group, which is emergency response and student engagement. And I'll be personally helping out because I live in residence. It's very easy for me to go up there. But I'll be inviting anyone who wants to help out. Lastly, I would also be requesting the board itself to allocate a small fund or some amount to this program, because in future we might feel like there's a need to and there's a financial need or some kind of like a financial shortage, we don't want to hold the program. We want to keep it going. So it would be nice to have some money in reserve for this, so that we can use it as required or needed. So that's emergency response part of it, and we are hoping to bring this to the board and get the space allocated to this program and some small amount to it. So I would also request that if staff can look into which kind of space we can use and at what time it will be available. So we need it for twice a week. The days are not confirmed yet, but it will be twice a week between at least 3 hours of time. So I would take any questions on this if anyone have any.
Thank you for the update, Samad. Is there any questions?
All right, so if there's no question on emergency response.
I'm just wondering, is there a briefing note you could provide us with? This is kind of a lot of information. And I'm sure that Sylvia would also like to see something similar.
Yes, I can do that. I can provide you with notes by tonight from the meeting Matt and I had. If that's okay.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Samad. And I think if you want to send that to the UAA mailing list, that's cool, or you can send it to me and I can send it out to the committee, whatever works for you.
Yes, so I will send it to you, Gabe. There's like a little bit of editing left because as there was only Matt and I in the meeting, it was difficult for me to like take all the notes. So I made a few mistakes which I need to correct and just finalize the stuff, and then I'll send it to you, and then you can just send it to whoever you like. And lastly, OSAB, I think OSAB was on the list, but I want to talk about the student engagement part as well. But if question is related to emergency response, I would like to take it now.
Yeah, it's just on the topic of the briefing note, I think it might be helpful just to like give a summary of like the general project and then like what your next steps are, because I know you mentioned that you want to maybe bring a motion to the board to put some funding into it. So I think it would be a really great idea to have the briefing note accompany that as well.
All right, then I'll just summarize. I will have the whole transcript ready for the conversation as what we had for anyone who would like to see that. But I will like do a one-page summary on like everything and also attach the proposal that was sent to me, so that everyone can look into that if they like. If that's okay.
That sounds great. Sylvia, would you like to speak?
Yes. So thank you. I understand that you're needing space for this program to take place. Starting when, please?
So date is not finalized as she didn't have a space, so that's what she's holding back on. Like as we say, like okay, we can provide a space and from this date and on, then she will give us like a date where she will start using it. She didn't finalize any date because she currently does not have a space to do so.
Okay, so the date is dependent on us. All right, so when we receive the details, we will look into what's possible and how we can make sure that this happens in a safe manner with the health authorities stipulation. So looking forward to it. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All
yeah,
right.
Thank you.
If Mr. Chair allow me, then I'll get into student engagement part of it.
Of course, Mr. Raza, go ahead.
All right. So in the last meeting, I had a meeting with the working group on Friday. And in that meeting, we discussed that the students are feeling a lot of mental pressure, which they need to be relieved, like online services and like connecting online and doing all the meetings and classes and just it's not sufficient. And the quality of education is another topic that students are really worried about. In this time of need, we are not doing welcome days or any kind of club activities or those kind of things that usually help a student engage and make new friends and so on. So we think we would like to propose that the SFSS work with the events committee to start a game show program. So every week there's a small game show where a student, it's a live thing, a board member is hosting it. We do like funny bits on it and like engage a student, ask kind of like do trivia nights, or like just ask like question answer session or something like that, where student can respond to it in like chat box or comment section, and then whoever, like let's say, answers first or comment on it, we give them prizes. We like showcase like, okay, we have a prize for this week, is this and this, then and then we do kind of like a game show, and then whoever wins the prize, we just deliver it to them. So as of now, this is what we are thinking, but like it's a still under development session, and we are still like trying to like just figure out all the operations for it and how we can actually make it work. But we would like to request that the group can be allowed to work closely with events committee, because that's kind of like comes under their portfolio, so we can make things work.
Thanks, Ahmed. Sylvia, do you want to make a comment?
I did. Both Shanika and I have been attending meetings with the university for a group that started when we were able to be together in person for Welcome Day, and that group still hoping to be able to bring a sort of Welcome Day or maybe Welcome Week to the students, and obviously will have to be online. I missed, I think, the last meeting. Maybe Shanika can talk about it. And also this afternoon, I attended a meeting also with the university. It's all several departments and student engagement office are trying to figure out how to engage with students. So we each, gave an update as to what we have been doing as an organization or a department or a service, and we share those ideas together. Once the document with all the information comes out, I'll send it off to you so that you can see what events are being planned. So that you know that there is a Welcome Back Week, I think, working group, and this other group that's also trying to figure out how together we can have more engagement.
Yeah, just to add, so the Welcome Day committee is now broken into 3 subcommittees. So you have virtual engagements, events and ceremonies, and academic engagement. But we're basically doing the same thing right now. We're gathering information on how to engage students in Welcome Week, not just socially, but also in their academics. So can they meet a mentor, somebody will mentor them in the program, as well as faculty staff. And I know that different faculties are also doing stuff to engage students. So if we could work together and collaborate, that would be good, rather than each department's doing their own thing, which is quite similar.
Yes, I believe this would be a good idea. It can increase engagement to a very good level, I would say, but I would still like to bring in events committee with us on this. And if we can do like a joint force with SFU, SFSS together into building some kind of program, not just for the Welcome Week, which is 1 week or so, but for like the continuation of the whole semester, or somewhat to like spread out to the semester, so that we can address this issue of student engagement. Because before COVID, students were like having a lot of club days, meetings, and those kind of events on campus, but now it's completely to the halt, and everything is moved online, which is not same as like in-person collaboration or in-person engagement. So I would like to like do some kind of thing. As I said, group has decided to go for developing some kind of game show for them. And if information comes in from SFU side, then I would like to collaborate on them and brief them on what we are thinking, and just see how we can make things work. Thank you.
I agree. Is it possible for you to also collaborate with the Out on Campus and Women's Center? Because I know they're trying to do virtual engagement for students as well. So it would be good to talk to them as well as the events committee, because they have.
I'm open to any kind of collaboration with anyone, and plan was to bring in guests from all around our campus who do this kind of work, and just bring them on the show as a guest, and where they can speak and engage students. So we had this kind of thing in mind as well from the get-go. So yes, I will ask my group to start contacting any appropriate party or relevant parties who can help us with this program. And then if you guys can provide from administration side any kind of information or resources we will need to make such thing work, that would be great too. And lastly, I will connect with Jennifer and also try to, and if you guys can connect me to SFU, whichever committee you think is relevant or appropriate for this program.
Sounds good. Thank you, Samad. Wei Chen, would you like to speak?
Yeah, just to add on, I think it would be a good idea to kind of have our own event as well. Like, we can collaborate with SFU on Welcome Day and all that, but I think it would be good to just have an event where it's just us engaging with our membership and not have SFU's involvement. And include women out on campus, women center, and our constituency group, and just, I think it's a good opportunity for us to build a relationship with our membership, because that has been lacking over the years. So yeah, just something separate from SFU, that would be good.
Yeah, I'm in agreement as well. I think that there is an opportunity to work with SFU on what they have going already. But I think in addition to that, there is definitely an opportunity for the SFSS to do some student engagement of its own. And we've had a lot of discussions about making sure that the SFSS is still active and people are aware that the SFSS is still providing services and events and advocacy for the students, and making sure that people know that the money they're paying toward the SFSS is still going to good use during this time of working from home and doing online classes. And I love the idea of working with the constituency groups, and I think we should start communicating with those respective coordinators. Is there anything? Okay, that's good to know. Thank you, Anuki. Sylvia?
I was thinking about I attended a few weeks ago a conference online, and it was all about well-being and health and all of that, and it was on my personal time on a Saturday and Sunday. And it might be very good for us to think about a potential mega conference on mental health and other things like that. The things that are of interest to students because of what's going on and the adjustment to working online and so on. And we can have some very good local speakers. I know somebody from the Mental Health Association. We could have somebody from the Health and Counseling Services. It could be very exciting to have a 2-day event with all kinds of speakers, and we can give out swag. And you can't see me, but I'm doing the air quotations. We could incentivize people by giving out cards of some kind. It could be very exciting to have something like that as well.
That's a very good idea. I really like that idea. I think there's an aspect of putting out information about mental health resources, and there is a lot of people struggling with mental health issues right now. I mean, it's been a big adjustment, and I know even in the last week myself, I've been very stressed and and I can't even find the word, but it's been hard, you know, working online and doing online class, and especially working online. That's been big for me. So I think that, yeah, I think that's something we should focus on. And Nuki, what would be the next steps with these ideas? Does anyone want to take that question? Maybe Sylvia?
Yeah, I was thinking that, you know, last year I was working with Christina Ludzik on the peer-to-peer program, and maybe we can start reviving that and looking into what that may look like on a first step. Because I think even if we have it online, I know we have the MySSP, and I know people can contact a counselor and all of that. So, but having the peer-to-peer program may be a way of leveraging than having a conference that is, you know, with professionals coming to talk about the different aspects of, you know, why some days are great and some other days are very stressful for the work that we're doing, and I mean the topics can be endless. So I think Anuki, you are the health rep, right?
Environment.
Environment.
Nafoni is the health.
Nafoni is the health. I'm sorry. I will get it straight one day. It took me a little while last time as well. But is Nafoni on the call?
Yes, she is.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So Nafoni, maybe we can set up a time if you're agreeable, and we can have a little chat and maybe map it out, and we can bring it back to the committee.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So Shanika, would you kindly arrange that?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Anuki, for the question, and Sylvia for the answer. Poom, would you like to speak?
Yeah, about the peer support program. During the election, me and Jennifer, we got into contact with the coordinators of High Five that were working on the program last year, and we are still in good contact with them. In fact, Jen actually put it on her platform that she was going to continue the program. So it would be helpful to include her in the conversation as well.
That's amazing, for sure. Jennifer is a giant resource when it comes to a great many things. Asad?
Yeah, I think even during the last board term, folks from High Five actually came to give us a presentation on their ideas, like helping us host, I guess, some kind of peer support thing. I think it would be, yeah, just to, I guess, touch on what Poom said, they've already reached out to us. I think it would be helpful for us to reach back out to them, because I think with the execution of something like a peer support network, it's a very delicate situation when, you know, you've got students talking with students. I know at some places they call it an active listening network, and there may be some differences. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it would be a good idea for us to reach back out to High Five in this regard.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Is there any? Oh, Sylvia, go ahead.
Sorry, Osaba, I cannot remember, but I remember wanting to invite High Five to the board meetings. One board meeting, they did present, didn't they? At the previous board?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah, they did. Okay. Because, you know, sometimes I think I've done something and then realized that it was just a thought. So they did. Yeah. Yeah, we had great relationship with them. Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
Cool. Thank you for the clarification. All right, if there's no further discussion or questions, those are all very good ideas, and we have a lot to think about, I think, coming out of this discussion. So if there is no more discussion, we'll move out of 7.3 and into our discussion items. Under section 8, we'll move to 8.1, SFSS Student Town Hall. Now this is coming out of a motion passed at the board table that was brought forward by Balkis, and the idea is to plan a student town hall in order to discuss issues that are impacting students. And I'll pass it over to Balkis in a minute, but I think the whole point of this town hall is coming out of SFU's town hall that they did the other day, and trying to provide a better platform to give students the answers that they need, and show them that the SFSS is active in advocacy efforts when it comes to academics and finances and et cetera, et cetera. So I'll pass it over to Balkis, who has expressed interest in being the lead on this town hall project.
Sure. So I realized that a lot of people felt like they couldn't bring up concerns at that town hall. So I'm hoping that this one is a chance for folks to do that, as well as we base our direction and response based on what students tell us, right? As the motion stated, we'll be working with, hopefully, the partner groups that have endorsed the C19 coalition. And I'm hoping to hear or just have a conversation right now about, on our end, is there anything that we would like to see particularly of this town hall before conversation begins, which there will be very soon with the other partner organizations. I'm thinking, I just want to make that discussion open and available to the UAA first before going into conversation with them.
Sounds good. Thank you. Is there what do we want to see out of this town hall? I mean, I'm just thinking too here for a minute. If anyone wants to jump in, just even give us a few seconds here to collect our thoughts. Awesome.
I think definitely an avenue for live questions. I think that was a big problem with the town hall hosted by Student Services. I like the format of having kind of like a panel and then having like a bar maybe at the side where students can upvote questions that they think are relevant for us to answer.
Cool, I agree. I think that live questions is just a given. I think I said this at the board meeting too, but y'all can't have a town hall if y'all don't have live questions. That defeats the point of a town hall. I think having a panel of some sort, we should have time allocated at the town hall to actually talk about what the SFSS has been doing recently, and what we are advocating for, the specific asks that we are bringing to the university. I suppose. Is there anything else? I'm just trying to think of the logistics of this. If I'd love to have live questions. So we need to think of some sort of software we would like to use, and how we're going to get students on board with that, and how we can live stream this online and whatnot. Balkis, do you want to go ahead?
I remember at the federal elections debate that SFSS hosted, there's this really cool app that was used where people can submit questions, and then everyone can see all questions that were posted, and people could thumbs up stuff. And I think that would be super helpful. It would be open. You could see what was asked, and if it's basically there, you upvote it, and everyone can see that, and we can kind of run, or the panelists can, or whoever's moderating can do so accordingly to that. So does anyone remember what app that was? And can we find out, please? I know it was used last year.
Yes, I just wrote it on the chat. It was called Slido.
Perfect. And that's like is that like an app?
It's actually web-based. So you actually enter the code that we give people, and they're able to put the question. So for instance, if I put a question on, I don't know, finance, and 3 other people have a question or similar question, and they give mine the thumbs up, it moves up on the scale, so that the most popular questions are the ones that are tackled first, and so on. And it's web-based, so people don't have to download an app or anything like that. It's they have to have access to the internet, obviously, but it's, people don't want to download another app on their platform, on their phones or tablets or whatever. So it's good that it's web-based, and I believe it is free. We can look into it and look back at the arrangement at the time.
Hi, Sylvia. I just wanted to add on to that. The version that was used wasn't the free version. The free version is not super great for having a lot of questions, but for a single event, I think it has a set fee, something like $200, $300. So I just wrote in the chat that perhaps for the next meeting, that's a motion that's brought forward.
Okay. That's good. Good that you remember. I didn't remember that we paid for it, but $200, $300 is not a significant amount, I think. And I think it will be the same thing we're going to be using for the town hall for the bylaws. So people will be used to having the same, format for doing things. Now, my concern is with Zoom. I know that, today in the meeting that we had with SFU, we're talking about what we're doing, etc. One of the big concerns is that many of the meetings have been trolled by people putting very inappropriate things up because anybody can figure out how to get in. So we just have to be mindful of that as well.
Is there any, and for anyone who's an expert with Zoom, or has experience using Zoom, is there, like my idea or understanding of how this could work is that we hold the town hall on Zoom, and of course, we have some kind of form that you can fill out beforehand in order to sign up to ask live questions. I don't know if that puts up an additional barrier for people who want to participate, but we can talk about that as well. And of course, it would be nice if there were a way to figure out how to live stream that Zoom to something like Facebook, like our Facebook page, where students can watch that on social media as well. And, of course, Facebook live streams have, you can comment on live streams, so students can ask questions through that live stream, and there might be someone who is monitoring that live stream chat and taking in questions as students are asking them live. Yeah, there's many ways we can do this. I would love to hear if anyone has ideas on the logistics of this. And yes, Shanika, I think who was it? Paige from the Peak at the board meeting was asking, how are we going to make this accessible to students who might be in different time zones or etc. So one of the discussion points that came out of that question was probably hosting more than one town hall at different times for students to be able to participate and who might not be able to make certain times. So that's something we need to think about too. And if that comes to maybe getting an annual subscription for that app, that might be something we should look into. Balkis, you wanted to directly reply?
Yeah, you were saying something about listing your name or signing up to ask questions. Wondering if that was beforehand, or you're talking about when we get to the meeting and you like put your list down or your name down or something, or just more of logistics.
Yeah, so I was thinking beforehand, like whenever I don't know, I'm just thinking of whenever you sign up for a webinar or some online form of a town hall. Usually what happens is that if you want to participate in that town hall live, you would sign up beforehand, and then once you sign up, the Zoom link would get sent to you. So then we're not posting the Zoom link online. So then, as Sylvia mentioned, we don't get, you know, I don't love the word trolled, but that accurately kind of describes what we're trying to avoid. Balkis, is that a direct reply, or did you have another point? Okay, go ahead. Balkis? Oh.
Oh no, I was saying you addressed what I was gonna say, and then I
okay. There you go.
on the list later.
I thought you were nodding your head as to that was a direct reply. Okay, that's okay. Wei Chen?
Yeah, like I'm just looking at like Zoom and like the webinar feature. So like it appears that we are on. Well, if you use the SFU one, you are kind of on a paid plan. But like in terms of starting a webinar, there's a page you can look at like getting started with a webinar. So I haven't fully read it yet, but I'll post it in the chat. So maybe that's something we can look into. And I'm pretty sure like you can moderate stuff if you use the webinar feature of Zoom. So that might be a solution to preventing from people sharing very inappropriate stuff. So yeah.
I didn't actually know there was a webinar feature of Zoom, so that's actually really good to know. We could probably.
Yeah. And if I think if you use that feature, you can choose. There's an option for you to directly stream it to Facebook as well. So I've seen it done with other webinars where they're they're having a webinar on Zoom, but then there's an option for you to stream it on Facebook as well, and then people can interact on Facebook with the chat at the same time.
All right, cool. That's really good to know. Okay, Sylvia, thanks for letting us know if she hasn't already gone already. Okay, that's cool. Wei Chen sent the link. Awesome. Okay, Shanika, do you want to say something?
Wait,
Yes,
I think I was next. Sorry.
Oh, you're next. Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Anuki, go ahead.
It's okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I agree with you before about like the Facebook Live or Instagram Live, like whatever live it is. And then since Wei Chen already brought up the fact that you can like have webinar on Zoom and then put that as a live, that might be a good idea. And then something that I wanted to bring up from like a previous Green New Deal town hall that I've been to before, it might be a good idea to consider, obviously depending on how many people attend, but it might be a good idea to like have some sort of engagement within the students. So like I personally really like the idea of like breakout rooms, because then like students can like talk, or there can be activities that are done, and we can have facilitators within those breakout rooms. And that's also something we did 2 weeks ago or last week at the Faculty of Environment event / social. So that could be something you consider as well, just to like increase engagement or like participation within students. So it's not just like students asking questions, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Sorry. Shanika.
That's okay. That's actually a really good idea. I like that breakout room idea, and it becomes less of a students asking questions and we just answering them to actual engagement and engaging in discussion. Who was next on the list? Oh yeah, Shanika.
I just want to say we don't have our own Zoom. We usually use SFUs, and there's some limitation to using theirs because of FIFPA. They have some privacy policy in place. So we would have to look into it. And thanks for bringing the webinar feature to my attention, my information, Wei Chen. But I know that we can ask poll questions, which would not be good since we may have to have closed answers. So we'll have to really explore and then decide. But there are quite a few limitations with using SFU Zoom.
Okay. I mean, yeah. Do you have an idea like of what type of like limitations, if you happen to know? I'm just curious, like what we're working with.
I know for sure that we can't record meetings using it. And I would have to look in. I'm gonna see if there's a raise hand feature. I'm not sure if they removed that feature, so I'll look into it to see whether we can access that one. But for sure, we can ask poll questions using it.
Cool. Okay, thank you. That's good to know. Balkis?
I was gonna ask if we're aware of any other apps other than Zoom, and if also for the point of accessibility, I think definitely having an app that does live captioning would be good. Also beforehand, there can also be the option to submit questions beforehand. I don't agree with the idea of having a sign up to ask live questions because I think that just puts another barrier, and people should just be able to ask in the moment. And I think Slido would help with that a lot. I think that is all that I have to say. Yeah.
Cool. I actually agree with that, and I think we can definitely use Slido in that way. So we'll have to kind of think of the logistics of that then. We'll have to find some kind of video conferencing software that we can use. And yeah, we'll just have to figure out the logistics of how we're going to moderate live questions, or whether, yeah, these are all good questions. Who's next? Anuki? Or sorry, Balkis, you wanted to directly reply, then Anuki can speak.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know that the partner orgs that we're gonna be reaching out to have quite a bit of experience with accessibility and just logistics of town hall as well. So we'll be bringing back whatever conversation is had to here as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Anuki?
Yeah, touching on a point that Gabe brought up before about the time differences and like having multiple town halls, I like that idea. And another thing to add on to that could be like different members within the SFSS can like lead those like each town hall, if that makes sense, like having like a different leaders type of thing. If some people can't, if some execs can't make it to this town hall, they can go to this one, like just so that everybody has a turn and then more students can get engaged with each. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, so like rotating, like having different town halls, so that we make sure that all our board members have an opportunity to engage in a town hall. Yeah. Cool. Balkis, sorry, I saw two of you and I got confused.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
In response, I know Asub was talking about a panel, and I think a panel would be a good idea. To have like one representative. That way it doesn't get like overwhelming. We'd have I think instead of having all of us talking, because that can become a lot, we have one representative from every organization speak. At least for the first one. I know we're gonna do multiple, but just for this one, have like one from each of the groups. And I think I would suggest also for now to start off.
Cool. Sounds like a good plan. And of course, I think those details can be ironed out a bit later once we get some more logistics planned. And Asib, would you like to say something?
I had a question. Has there been much communication with the other groups, like the GSS and the TSSU, about how they think we should, I guess, do the town hall?
Can I reply?
Yeah, of course.
No, I wanted to have a conversation first here, and I will be communicating today with them.
Sounds good. Thank you. So I think we had good discussion here today. I think maybe what needs to happen next is form some kind of, well, I don't know if we necessarily need to form well, no, it might be useful to form a working group of types, maybe if Balkis wants to lead that, and it can include, members here of the committee and any other board members who are interested, plus anyone else from the groups you're communicating with to help facilitate this. That sounds agreeable. Sounds good. So we'll have Balkis be kind of like the working group lead of this working group on the SFSS student town hall. And if anyone else, I mean, to me, it seems like everyone here is would like to express interest in being involved in this in some capacity. So yeah, I can't speak today, pardon me. Balkis will follow up with us, and I'll communicate with her and with the committee, and we will bring more details back, hopefully for next UAA meeting. Cool. Is there any final thoughts, discussion, questions, concerns? Cool.
Yeah, sorry. So just to confirm, this is like the town hall is for student engagement to let them know what services are available, right? Or
Balkis?
It's mainly to give students a chance to raise concerns directly to us, as well as update on what we have been doing. Yeah, I think maybe in the reverse order, but yeah.
Shanika?
I just want to say this is a good initiative and I support it. It's a very good way to engage our students, our membership, especially now that we're working remotely. So it's good to have these frequently.
I concur strongly. Sounds good. So we will move away from this discussion item if there's no more discussion. Wei Chen?
Yeah, like I kind of looked it up a little bit. I think that Shanika is right with the limitation of the SFE one. I don't think it allows us to have a webinar, and we might have to like purchase a pro like account on our own if we're using Zoom. And then how the webinar works is like you have to add it as like an add-on, and they charge like monthly or like yearly. So have to look into like if we want to go with that, like funding as well for that. And yeah, I just think it's a good we should do this more often, and also to address some student concerns. I know that there has been quite a few comments on students questioning why are you paying like student activity fee, and like where is this money going to, and yeah, it'd be good to let our membership know that we're still doing work even though things are online, and where this money is going to, like on campus, women's center, to all this resources that is very important to students. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Wei Chen. So let's move on to our next discussion item, 8.2, which is turning SFSS COVID-19 survey results into a campaign. So we already kind of discussed this already, I believe, at the beginning of the meeting under updates. So, and it was also discussed at our last board meeting. So we have our survey results in from our COVID-19 survey with the data that we collected from our members. And an idea was brought up to turn this, the information that we have, into a campaign of sorts to generate awareness on the numbers that we collected. And this is, hopefully we can generate this into part of our lobbying efforts to the university on why it's important, why the asks that we are asking for the university are so important to get implemented. And by generating the numbers that we collected into infographics or things that we can post on social media, it generates awareness. And I think it's important if we are especially if right now we're being met with a lot of resistance to a lot of our ideas, and there's very little incentive to I can't speak. There's little wiggle room right now. So I think that this is very important. And I think that, Asib came up with this idea at the board meeting. If she would like to speak to it a little bit.
Yeah, I was just gonna say this might be something that we can do in conjunction with like a financial like SFSS during COVID campaign that includes not only the survey results, but also like what we're doing on behalf of students with those results, and also where students can find financial and other support through the SFSS and otherwise. because I know it's a discussion that we had at the exec committee around student fees, and that even if we're deciding not to make any changes to student fees in the long term or the short term, that we kind of need to answer that question as to like, okay, y'all are still collecting money from us, so what are you doing with it? So I think for the most part, it seemed pretty well received. I can put a work order in um, uh, uh, to make like graphics, I guess, with like different key points from the survey, different pieces of information regarding finances. So if anybody wants to help me with that and compile it, and then we can get Sindhu's help as well in putting those together. I don't know if anyone has any other suggestions about how we can get this done, but I think there was consensus at the board, and I think consensus amongst UAA and exec that this is a good initiative to take on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course, I will always be here and to help you, Asib, with any of this. Wei-Chin?
Yeah, I was at my the science or DSU meeting just now, and the president of the chemistry student union kind of brought up that kind of asked that where is there a place that people can go to look up for resources, whether it be financial or whether it be mental health support from either SFU or SFSS. So I think it'd be a good idea to have that like resource on our website that students can go to, just like one place and not like scattered around, but just one resource on where they can seek financial help, where they can get financial support if they need to, if they're having issues, like who to go to and all that. So just wondering what do people think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I am in total agreement with everything you just said, and I think that generating a central location where students can find all this information is probably a good idea. I think that right now there is a lot of services and things that students might be aware are there, but don't necessarily know how to access it or where that information actually is. So yeah, I agree completely. And Asib likes that idea. Cool. So yeah, that's fairly simple. If does anyone have anything else to contribute to this discussion? Any ideas? I think we hit most of the key points. Cool. So cautiously moving away from this discussion item and making sure no one else has anything to say, we will move on to our next discussion item, 8.3, which is BD COVID-19 advocacy. And this discussion item comes off the board meeting on last week, where Maytab, our business representative, brought up the point that BD students are still being charged a certain fee for all their courses that usually is used toward very hands-on things that aren't really being or able to implement because classes are online. And in all honesty, I don't have much information on this other than what was discussed at the board meeting, but when it was brought up, I was actually very alarmed by it because it doesn't seem like a very small amount of money. It's actually quite a hefty fee. And when you're charging this for all BD students, I think he said it was for most business classes anyway. That's a lot of money that's being raked in by whoever. So I'm bringing this forward because I think we need to collect more information on this, and I'm not really quite sure who to communicate with about this. If maybe we should talk to Maytab more to get more information about it and bring this to the ombuds, or even the who is it, the dean of the business, the BD School of Business. I am not quite sure how to go about this. If anyone has any ideas. Wei Chen?
Yeah, probably the best person to lead this would probably be Maytab. Ask him to do, I don't know, a survey on, or like gather information on what courses have these like fees and how much they're charging, and make a campaign around it and bring awareness and just get feedback from business students on their thoughts on these fees and how we should proceed to advocate for them. So yeah, I think the best to ask Maytab and kind of have him lead this. So
thank you, Wei Chen. Yeah, I agree. Asa?
This kind of might be a little bit off topic, but I know that we just received an email from the ombudsperson regarding exam proctoring software, invigilation software, that kind of thing. So touching on COVID-related advocacy, I think part of it is going to be us making sure that students know that they can reach out to us if there are problems, because if I'm not mistaken, the VPA office actually sent out an email to instructors telling them that if they were going to implement some kind of proctoring software, that had to be done within the first week so that students would know before the course drop deadline. But that hasn't actually been the case for some courses, and some profs are, I guess, digging their heels in the sand and saying that they don't want to give students alternative options. So please, if there's an avenue for you to reach out, especially like faculty reps, for you to reach out to your DSUs, faculty student unions, that kind of thing. I think we'll also probably be trying to reach out to students through like Facebook and that kind of thing, similar to what happened at the end of last year, in trying to make sure that we could reroute concerns to the ombudsperson so that they could be appropriately addressed.
Cool, thank you, Asa. I actually haven't looked at that email yet. Did that come in during this meeting? Oh, yes, it did. I see it came in at 3:30. I'll take a look at that. Yeah, okay, so I'll communicate with Maytab and hopefully we can get some more information on that and follow up with this, because it's pretty alarming to me. Cool, is there any further discussion?
yeah, I'm on the list, I think. Yeah.
Oh, I apologize. I thought that was from before. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think one thing we can do is we can post on our social media and maybe send out email as well on like saying we've been hearing concerns of students having to use like kinds of proctoring software, and then we could let them know to contact their faculty reps, and then we will either direct that to the ombudsperson or something like that. That could be one way to reaching out to students and have them know that they can reach out to us when they have problems like this. So like just like either we send like a mass email on like concerns like this, or yeah, just like on social media like Instagram, just letting you know that you can email like these faculty reps at like this email address and then whatever. Yeah.
For sure. Thank you. Yeah, and that totally ties into what Asif just said too, about making sure that students know that they can reach out to us if issues such as this do arise. I don't think that a large majority of the student population doesn't know that a lot of the work that we are doing and making sure that things like this aren't happening. So that is definitely something we need to work on, because that's the whole reason why we're here, right? Student societies need to advocate for students on issues that are impacting them most. And of course, the bare minimum we must do is students know that we're available to them. Sounds good. Cool. Any additional comments? Sounds good. So I think that wraps up our discussion items. Yes, it does. So before we conclude, I'll just mention that our next UAA meeting is in 2 weeks today, on Tuesday, June 16th, 2020, at the same time, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. It doesn't seem that our meetings have been going for the full 2 hours, but just make sure that you're free for that chunk of time. And of course, this is our new bi-weekly meeting time. So I'll also just mention too that I've sent our student at-large application questions to the nominating committee. So as soon as, I'm hoping that soon applications for student at-large members of the committees go out soon, and that we will have student at-large members sitting on the committee. And the reason I bring that up is because we might end up in a situation where we have to change the meeting time if enough of our student at-large members can't attend during this time, or we might just have to make it a requirement that if you're signing up for this committee, you have to be available at this time. I'm not quite sure how that is going to work yet. I'm actually going to speak with the Matt, the chair of the nominating committee, to see what we should be doing about that. And also attached to the agenda is the COVID-19 survey report and results for your information. So we will, with that said, we'll move into adjournment then. So item 11.1, be it resolved to adjourn the meeting at 4:23 p.m. Is there a mover for that motion?
Yeah, I can move. Anuki.
Anuki moves. Thank you. Is there a seconder?
Samad.
Samad seconds. So seeking unanimous consent on the motion. If all those in favor seeking unanimous consent, if you dissent, please just unmute your mic. And seeing none, that motion carries unanimously, and we will adjourn the meeting. Thank you everyone for coming out this afternoon. I hope you are having a good week so far, and chat soon.